What's going on, everybody? We have officially made it past the halfway point. We are at day 8, pick 8. The New Orleans Pelicans are being represented today by Will Guillory. Are you ready to talk draft stuff?
Yes. Not number one on your draft board, but number one in your hearts out there always, of course.
You were number 1 a few years ago, but
Yeah, not too long ago.
Not this year. Look, this year the Pelicans have the opportunity to add a top 10 talent to a team that already made the playoffs, which could be a really good thing because obviously the teams that we've been talking to up until now have been bottom of the barrel. This team made the playoffs. They didn't have Zion for a lot of the season, for the whole season, for a lot of the
entire season.
Yeah, for the entire season. So hopefully you have someone, or you have the opportunity now to pair a top 10 talent in this draft with Zion, with a healthy Zion, hopefully coming back. There's a few names that are still on the board. Shaedon Sharpe, AJ Griffin, Johnny Davis. We could go on and on. I'm going to take off the board right now, Will. Let's pretend the mock draft does not exist. Who do you think would be the best fit? And you can't choose like Chet, like be realistic, but pretend the board doesn't exist. Is there someone right now that you're like, if this person dropped, that would be incredible?
It's funny because the person that I ended up with, I think will be what my answer is Shaedon Sharpe. I think he's super talented. He's like the big mystery in the first round because he didn't play in college. We haven't seen him play competitive basketball since high school. But when you see the video of this kid, I mean, he just got crazy bounce, can shoot the ball, can make plays off the dribble. You see the potential. That's got good size at the guard position. So I think he just brings a lot to the table, but it's just hard to know what he's going to look like because we haven't seen him play against NBA or even college level guys a lot of the time. So, but I would also throw a Benedict Mathurin in there. I think he's super talented. I really like Dyson Daniels, the G League kid. Maybe even Jeremy Sochan. I'm not as big a fan of him, but I think he's talented as well. I think that's the good thing about this draft. I think it's a really deep group once you get from like 5 until 15. I think they got a lot of options in this draft. So I think the Pelicans are feeling pretty good about where they are right now.
Let's talk about the Pels quickly, though, because they did make the playoffs. They made the first round of the playoffs, or they made the play-in, right? And then the playoffs. And that's without this guy that came in as the number 1 draft pick, supposed to be the franchise player of this team. Obviously, there's a big offensive hole that Zion has left that hopefully he's able to fill in the next season when he comes back healthy. What, like, say you have your top 3 guys for the Pelicans that are still on the board when you get to number 8 on draft night. Is there like specific things that the Pelicans need? Like if there's a really good defender, are they going to go after him? If there's a really good wing player, do they go after him? Like what do the Pelicans need?
Yeah, I think you kind of mentioned it earlier. That's like the great thing about where they are right now. They're not like a lot of these teams at the top of the draft where they have this glaring hole that they need to fill. I think they already feel pretty good about what their starting 5 is going to look like. They got Jose Alvarado coming off the bench. They got, Trey Murphy coming off the bench. They got Jackson Hayes and Larry Nance. They got a bunch of guys already. So I think they're in a position where it's just best player available. Whoever's the best guy sitting there at 8, I think they'll be fine, whether it's a guard. I doubt they're going to draft a big. I think that's the one thing. They already got too many bigs with Zion coming back. But yeah, whether it's a really good wing or a really good guard, they'll be fine getting whoever's there. And I think that's the position you want to be in, right? Going into the draft is just take the best player available and you figure it out later on. So I think that's the plan. And I think there's going to be a good number of options there for sure. But I think personally, I think the number one thing for me, I think they need to add just some more guard depth, just different type of guards. I think when you got CJ McCollum and Jose Alvarado, those are 2 smaller guards. I think that's something you saw in that playoff series against Phoenix where they were just a little bit small at times. So I think getting a bigger guard like a Sharp, like a Mathurin, I think would fit what this team needs right now, just depth wise.
So best available player with the starting lineup kind of already made. It's such a great position for a rookie to come in and not have a ton of pressure, but still have a lot of room for growth. So before we get into the actual person, no, I'm going to let you get on the actual board. I think you teased it. I feel like I know who you're going to say now, but with the 8th pick, Will Guillory representing the New Orleans Pelicans is choosing.
Drum roll. I kind of gave it away already. Sorry. But Shaedon Sharpe, the number 8 pick from Kentucky, kind of from Kentucky. I don't know. I guess we could say he's from Kentucky.
Shout out Canada.
Yeah, Canada. We'll say he's from Canada because he went to Kentucky, didn't play, practiced. The fans hate him now apparently because he told them he was coming back, and then he was like, "Oh wait, they're gonna pay me in the NBA. Deuces, I'm out." So yeah, he dipped on Kentucky, and they're mad about it. So yeah, I think, and like I said, I think the kid is just super talented. There are a lot of questions about some of the stuff going on in the background, who's helping him make decisions. But I think when you just look at the skill he brings to the table, shooting the ball, being able to make plays off the dribble, when you go look at his highlights, he just got a crazy package of dunks with windmills, 360s through the legs. He could do it all. And you put him out there in a layup line with Zion Williamson, Jackson Hayes, Trey Murphy. I think that's going to be a lot of fun to watch just even before the games even start. So yeah, I think just having one more super athletic guy with size to add to this group, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And like you said earlier, it won't be a lot of pressure on him to come in and contribute immediately as if he went to Detroit or Indiana. I think those are teams that are going to be looking for him to probably day one. And in New Orleans, he might not even be in a rotation game one. And I think that's going to allow him to figure himself out, figure out how he fits in this league. So yeah, I think it would be a great pick for the Pels at number 8. And if he ends up dropping that far, I think they'll be thrilled to get him at that point in the draft. When you talk about a guy who, if he went back to college, he might have been a number 1 pick next year. So to get him at 8, I think the Pels will be feeling really good.
Yeah, I think this would be a really cool fit as well. Not only like you're talking about just the most athletic wing, like you just said, finishes well around the rim. He's got a reliable jump shot, but hasn't played competitive basketball since 12th grade. This could be a team where he could come and feel it out and get that kind of like going still. You shake off the rust. You can't imitate games. And I think that will be a perfect kind of fit. So if he falls to 8, Pels get him. That's a good get. I'm glad he dropped to 8 for your sake for this mock draft.
Yes, I didn't have to pick a Duke player. Just a spoiler alert. I guess I don't know if it's a spoiler alert, but we're gonna open up the 4th wall here. When I initially did the mock draft, I thought I was gonna have to name a Duke player that shall not be named, and I wasn't happy about it.
I do not want to pick AJ Griffin, Kelcey. I refuse to come on here.
I refuse, Kelcey. But we figured it out. Now everybody's happy. The Pels are happy that they got Sharpe. I didn't have to compliment AJ Griffin. Everybody's happy.
Will, thank you so much for coming on and being part of the mock draft. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
And everyone watching at home, we'll be back tomorrow for the number 9 pick. So stay tuned.